when you saw that little face you made? It could be enough for me to take a picture. If only I had a little frame to place it on a wall, but we don't have walls here. Oh my god, come on, just smile a little bit. It's not that bad, I promise. I mean, it's not like I'm a ghost or something like that. At least I wouldn't identify myself with that. I wonder what kind of creature I could be to you humans. Perhaps a mermaid? Perhaps some ancient sea goddess? Perhaps a little light in the dark? Or a little darkness in the light? Just now, you don't have to look for the way back. At least, it will take some time. I can make sure of that. Your other partners? Well, they may be perishing, to be honest, but you have a chance. I mean, I saw you in that beautiful ship, so big, so filled with luxury, and I was like, who is this beautiful gentleman? I need to pick him up and avoid all that suffering. Yes, I'm sorry to say that, but your partners, they may be experiencing a little pain right now. But you don't have to worry about that because you, my friend, you are special. So I brought you here with me while the sea takes care of the other ones. I know, it may have been a little selfish, but to be honest, I could only just take one of you. And you see, I've spent many years under the sea, so I just wanted to bring myself some time to think which one of you I would pick. I don't feel like that's too selfish. I mean, it could have been better if I just let you to die and perish like the rest of them. I thought that. So, while you're here with me, why don't you make yourself feel more comfortable? What can I do to make yourself feel more at home under the sea? Yes, you don't have to worry about that because you will be able to breathe while you are in this beautiful trance. Actually, if you look above us, you can see the little bubbles you're making. They are quite beautiful, aren't they? All shapes and sizes. They are all the same color, but I think we can manage that out. If you want, I can turn them into purple instead of that crystalline looking little circle. What's your favorite color? I want to know. I want to know all about you. Well, it's not like I'm going to be around telling your secrets, at least not to mortals. I can't leave the sea, unfortunately, so your secret will be safe with me. I mean, unless you're worried about the shells, the mermaids, and, well, some other fish knowing what you've been doing in your mortal years. Come on now. I'm sure you have something good to confess to me, or at least a funny story to tell me. I mean, otherwise, I could think I just wasted my time making a decision and I made the wrong one. Okay, this is not going to work like this. You are too shocked for you to understand what I'm saying, but you need to realize that now your life has a purpose. I mean, at least kind of like your spirit, but down here all mortals are spirits, so it's not like the difference between body and soul will matter. I mean, all that matters is what you're experiencing right now, and I will make sure that you and I have a great time, because otherwise I will get a little sad, and we don't want that. The sea is already quite melancholic. I wouldn't like for me to be as sad as the waves, you know. Thank you. I came up with that poetry. I mean, I've had time to read a lot of poetry, to be honest. Most of the sailors who have the poor luck of being dragged down here, they carried books with them, and most of the time, when the ship sank, I was able to sneak into the other little compartments and find some treasures. Well, at least I had to hold my breath for that because I could only just breathe underneath water. So it's kind of like for reading, I have to hold my breath like this. Otherwise, oxygen would eventually destroy my lungs. Yeah. So, I mean, I think you can empathize with that, can't you? Yeah. And unfortunately, we don't have these kind of creatures like myself for us to be comfortable in the ground, like on ground. It doesn't work like that. I mean, I can make you blow bubbles and still breathe underwater, but you unfortunately cannot save me. I'm destined to be here. But it's okay because, as I was saying, most of the books I read, they came with very interesting lyrics and verses, even some wonderfully looking stories, and I mean intriguing, filled with mystery. I didn't know, like, before I read those books, I didn't know mortals could have such an imagination for writing. You would think that their horrible, sad world was filled with poor fantasies ideas, like they didn't get inspiration for anything, but apparently some writers are very talented. I wonder what made them that way. Do you happen to have a favorite book? Do you happen to have it with you? I mean, it could be nice to read for once without having to hold my breath. At least before the pages get destroyed and wet and the letters just vanish into melted blackness. I just want to be able to read. Oh, that sounds like a very smart idea, but what's plastic? That's the thing they were talking about. The thing that's polluting the ocean. But why would you use such a silly thing as a weapon? Well, it may not be conscious, but it still harms us. I mean, it doesn't harm me, but it harms creatures I'm very fond of, like little fishes and turtles. I've seen horrible things happen to turtles. We don't want that here. Okay, let's make a deal. If I somehow allow you to go back to the earth, could you promise me to fight against plastic? Well, I mean, I know it's hard, but maybe if you can redeem yourself, you can be reincarnated as a warrior. The plastic warrior. How does that sound? I mean, sounds pretty interesting to me. I've known many warriors. None of them combated plastic. Maybe you can be the first one. I don't know if you're saying this to me just to convince me to let you go upstairs, but we will think about that. Yeah. I feel like you're trying to persuade me. I'm not that naive as you think. I mean, I may not have much knowledge about the above sea, above water world, but I have plenty of experience down here. Yes, maybe I can show you. Maybe I can just convince you to stay here with me. I mean, you are the chosen one by me. I don't want to sound arrogant, but I really had a hard time making a choice, and you were the selected one. Maybe that even means you have a purpose down here. I mean, if you cannot combat plastic up there, you can maybe combat that horrible shark that always swims around us and scares us. Most of the time, I just have to hide underneath a rock. Yes, we have plenty of rocks here, all shapes and colors and sizes, just like the bubbles you're making. But it's not fun, when that horrible shark comes around. And I don't want to harm him. I mean, if I wanted, I could, but I just respect him as a living creature, but I think he doesn't respect most of us. Well, I could just do a little blow, and well, I don't think bubbles could come out of my mouth, but he would definitely be blown away. He could appear like 100 miles from this coast at least. That's quite a lot in my books. Well, maybe not the books I read. You want me to show you? I mean, I can share a little piece of the world, of how the world is here. I think I have the perfect thing for that. I mean, I declare myself quite guilty because I confess that I don't really just take books from the Marines and from the sailors. I may steal some things from them too. I mean, it's not actually stealing if they are already dead or if they are sinking, because it's not like they will need it, but I'll still make sure to collect some things I find precious. I mean, it's the same criteria I use for you. I found it precious, so you don't judge me, right? Okay, I appreciate that. I will show you. Just make sure you stay here. Don't wanna have to catch you. Okay. I really have to swim a little bit. It was a little harder because I was just too entertained and my mind was occupied by you. But we're here. I hope you really like it. I mean, it's one of the best things I got. I got this from my grandpa. The sound of the wood, even underwater, is very precious. It brings me some calmness. I'm sure it must bring you calmness too. If you want, you can tap on it too. We can share our hands, why not? I mean, it's not like I'm going to scratch you. I wouldn't do that. I could just blow and you will be thrown away like the shark, but I'm not planning on doing that, so don't worry. And I don't know if you can see it, but it has little cracks. I believe it's because the wood has been a little destroyed by the water, but I'm happy it still looks quite solid. Alright, I will show you. You don't have to be that impatient, you know. We have many treasures here. Don't be so curious. We will get there on time. Just let me introduce it for you. This is a very special thing I'm showing you. If you show no respect, I will be offended. Okay, I will show you then. I wonder what I can start with. I mean, maybe we could start with some basics. I'm sure you've seen one of these before, but this one is very special. Yes, it's a shell, but it's not any shell. You will not see this in any other place because this one belonged to my grandpa's wife, so my grandma. And yes, she was a creature as well as he was, and as well as I am. But as I said, we don't really have a name for us, so you can call us mermaids if you want. Yes, they are male mermaids as well. I know you didn't believe that because, judging from the Little Mermaid, you guys have a really distorted sense of what a mermaid is. I'm not judging. And this was something my grandma used to wear when she wanted to decorate her chest. She was a little exotic, but I'm sure you know exotic dancers on Earth too. No, don't be rude. I'm not one of those. My grandma was extravagant, but I have to say I'm more modest than her. But I still preserve these because it brings me memories. I can only imagine when she was younger. She was doing such shows. She was so playful. So I still keep this as a souvenir or as a little reminder of her presence. I will show you another one. Well, I also have this one is not a book because, as I said, I cannot stand books getting destroyed by water, and I didn't want to risk placing it here. But I found a card that really caught my attention. It was actually about 5 or 7 years ago. The colors were so pretty. Look at these pastels. I mean, I always wonder what these two female creatures were. I believe they were fairies, but I'm not sure. Yes, darling, fairies do exist, although they have another kingdom. We don't really mess up with them because we cannot go on the ground, but they can certainly go underwater. And they are very antisocial. Tinkerbell? Who's that one? I didn't know her. Maybe she's not a good representation of fairies after all. Or maybe I should read that book. Maybe that's the job you can do down here. Finding me books to read and, well, if you can't find the enemy, maybe showing it so you could be collecting plastic, helping to unpollute the ocean, and wrapping the books in plastic for me and bringing them to me so I can read it without having to hold my breath. That's a very nice idea. I know you want to get back up there, but listen, you could be even more useful down here, and I would treat you right. I mean, if only you knew what this card says. It says, "Oh, look for your happiness always, my darling. We love you so very much." And that's exactly what I pretend you to do. Look for your happiness. And maybe, if that doesn't make me selfish, look for my happiness too. We cannot be poor down here. You cannot be a lost soul, and I cannot be a lost mermaid, a lonely mermaid. That's quite sad, don't you think? Shush, you will make up your mind sooner or later. Oh, okay. Well, I think I will touch a sensitive spot here because these ones were added today. I mean, I know I've taken this from the ship you were in, but to be honest, they look so pretty. Just this beautiful brown, and I didn't want the wood to go to waste being wet, so I just sneaked them in and put it inside the coffin. It just, listen, you can also, I feel like we can do a little orchestra here, maybe like playing drums. Oh, you cannot tell me you don't appreciate the music. I know I have to practice my rhythm, but maybe you can help me with that too. Slower? Okay. And meanwhile, I can feel like a little orchestra director. Well, I see you're not very keen on the idea, so let's move on to the next object. I will take this though. I will keep this with me. Oh, well, I was talking about my grandma. Well, this one is what you humans use when you want to get a little exotic. I mean, I'm not judging the taste, but you cannot tell me that shells are more classic, at least. This was just a little thing that belonged to a woman, and well, to be honest, I wasn't the one who picked her. It was a male mermaid, but I mean, judging by the look of this, maybe he did the right choice, like he made the right decision. I wonder what he saw in her that made him choose her. But at least the color is nice, and it doesn't even get destroyed when it comes in contact with the water. So I decided to keep it. Maybe I can give it a good use someday if I take her. Or if you want, I can maybe give it to you, and perhaps you can find another use for it. Oh, yeah, you're right. You don't wear this. Okay, never mind. Let's move on to another object. Oh, well, this really intrigued me because I've seen this little thing. I think this goes to be standing like this. But what intrigued me was not the shape of it, nor the use. It was this little drawing it has here. Because, from what I understand, it belongs to some kind of religion. And most of the time, I'm very curious when it comes to humans' religion. I mean, they believe in so many things, but they don't believe in fairies and they don't believe in mermaids. How could that be possible? I mean, look at me. Am I not the living proof of that? Have they ever seen what they believe in? Oh, well, yes. I guess you can say they feel it in their hearts, but you can feel me too. I can be part of your heart too if you want. I mean, we would only need to just gently make contact, and you will feel my heart with your heart, and we will be connected forever if you want. You don't seem very convinced, to be honest, and it really breaks my heart to think that you're not the one. What should I do to make you fall in love with me? Maybe just be a little more gentle? Maybe I can take care of you and promise you that you will never be alone, that you don't even have to combat plastic if that's not what you want. I just want you to find your happiness like the little card said. Because if not, you will think that I'm a horrible monster, and that's not the picture I want you humans to have. I'm just doing what I can. I know you want to go up there. Maybe you're not the one for me. If only you were like the guy who gave me this beautiful medal. It's mine. I'm not going to allow you to touch it because it brings me so many memories. Well, he was a Marine. Actually, he was a lieutenant, and he was a little old, but he gifted it to me because after his ship perished, he fell in love with me, and he realized that life underwater was pretty good, and we had so much fun together. He even gifted another one for me. This one is a lily flower in the honor of my name. He was quite romantic now that I think about it. Maybe that's what made me fall for him too. I'm Liliane, but most of the time people don't associate Liliane with lilies, and I feel like my name is quite beautiful, although I wish I could be like the lily flowers. They are able to breathe above ground, meanwhile I'm damned to be here. I know what I said, but you have to understand that if you were to be here with me, life would be much more interesting for the both of us. You cannot tell me you weren't a loner up there. I know, but he is alright. He is alright, you have to believe me. Well, I took his medal as a reminder. I mean, it's not like he disappeared, it's just like he swam away and he wanted to find another fate. I don't like this. Why are you asking so many questions? Well, I blew him away, okay? I blew him away, but that's because one day I was like very mad at him because he was making friends with the shark, and I didn't like that at all. No, you cannot go. You cannot go. Listen. I have a very good idea. A very good idea. A deal, okay? If you only look at this medal, I promise you, I will leave you alone, and you will be able to go back to where you belong. I promise. I didn't want to be selfish in the first place, and I just realized that you and we weren't compatible. We are not compatible, and we are not going to be compatible. So, would you look at this? Just follow it for me. I promise it will be painless, okay? I know what's going